And so they stay in these relationships. Often they simply give up and give in. And eventually they become a shadow of their former self. And if that resonated with you at all, first of all, thank you for listening, and just know that you're on a path. Every little thing you do from this point forward, every book you read, every podcast you listen to, even if you join a group and you don't participate, if you kind of just sit back and observe, even the fact that you're just starting to bring awareness to the fact that you may be in an unhealthy relationship. Let me tell you about a concept very quickly. I wasn't going into this today. This is over on my virtual couch. If you will go find an episode a week or so ago where I talk about implicit and explicit memory. This is from the book, The Buddha Brain. It's amazing. The author, Rick Hanson, says, much as your body is built from the foods you eat, your mind is built from the experiences that you have. The flow of experience gradually sculpts your brain, thus shaping your mind. Some of the results can be explicitly recalled, like this is what I did last summer, and this is how I felt when I was in love. But most of the shaping of your mind remains forever unconscious. This is called implicit memory, and it includes your expectations, your models of relationships, your emotional tendencies, and general outlook. Implicit memory establishes the interior landscape of your mind, what it feels like to be you, based on the slowly accumulating residue of lived experience. That line right there, implicit memory, it establishes the interior landscape of your mind, what it feels like to be you, and it is based on the slowly accumulating residue of lived experiences. So right now, you are adding to the residue of lived experience. You may not remember the article, you may not remember the podcast, but every time you are listening to that, you are not beating yourself up, not thinking what's wrong with me, and you're starting to take action. What it is going to start to feel like to be you is you are someone who is now becoming more aware, and you are starting to take action. And that action might even be first in the subconscious, moving into conscious. The Buddha Brain also is the one that, in essence, it talks about how you start off by, you didn't even know what you didn't know. And then you know, but you don't really take much action. That's part of the process. A lot of people get stuck in that second phase. You went from, I wasn't aware of what I wasn't aware. Now I'm aware, but I really don't do a lot about it because it's scary still. And don't give up if you're in that second stage. You're going to move on to this third stage where you're going to be aware and you're going to start to take some action. You're going to raise your emotional baseline. You're going to get your Ph.D. in gaslighting. You're going to get out of unhealthy conversations, and you're going to start learning how to set boundaries. And that's where things are going to get a little more difficult, but that means you're doing it right. And then you're going to realize, fifth thing, if you're watching this on YouTube, these are my 5 things of being in relationships with narcissistic people, entities, you name it. But that fifth one, you'll start to realize that there's nothing you personally can do or say that will cause them to have the epiphany or aha moment. That has to come on their own. And part of the way that they may get to that is by you becoming more emotionally healthy. That as you start to change that landscape of what it feels, that the landscape of your mind, what it feels like to be you based on the slowly accumulating residue of lived experience, it will change the dynamic of the relationship. And it'll get a little bit uncomfortable, not a little bit uncomfortable. It will be very uncomfortable for a while, but that's where I just want to say you're doing the right thing. You can't live you can't live your life in this position of feeling like, what's the point? Or I'm a shell of myself, because we were all put here to flourish and be present and to find what our values are, our gifts and our talents and our abilities, and let our light so shine so that others around us, like our kids or people around us, are going to be lifted. It's not about trying to manage someone else's worldview or expectation. So if that's your case, then I highly encourage you to just stay on this path of enlightenment, of trying to figure things out, and self-care, and just know that you're in the right place.